Hi there. So today in this video I'm going to be showing you a bunch of the garments that I have sewn over the last couple of years. Some of them were successful, some of them were fails. So I'm just going to show you a try on of what I did and didn't like about each of the garments and the pattern that I used. So I hope you enjoy. Let's get into it.
So the first garment that I ever made was the Simplicity jacket. My mother helped me construct it and she taught me all that I needed to know to get started. It was definitely a challenging first start to a sewing journey. However, I did like the end result and I liked the fit of this jacket. The fabric, though, wasn't quite to my taste, but you learn these things as you go. And I got these matching buttons as well. So it's a bit snug for me now, so I do not wear it anymore, but I definitely got a lot of wear out of it. The second thing that I made was this knit dress. This was, again, very expensive fabric. I did a really good job at lining the fabric up on the side seams there, and I have worn this quite a lot. It is one of my favorite dresses. It was a self-made pattern, which again my mum helped me to construct, and I'm definitely going to be wearing this again. However, it's certainly showing quite a bit of wear now. One of the mistakes that I did make was at the shoulder seams. I didn't use elastic to stop the bubbling effect. However, over time that kind of disappeared. Now, a couple of years later, a lot of the things that I had made, I've now gotten rid of. This was a fail, in my opinion, because when I made it, it definitely didn't fit me in the hips. It's still quite tight. It looks great with the belt, though. The pattern just doesn't work for me, the fabric pattern, and it's quite short. So I'm not sure I'll be wearing this. I'll probably make it into something else or donate it. So the next thing that I made was this dress for my maternity baby shower, and it was a self-made pattern. I just used the top that I had to sort of draft this up. It has a high empire waistline and a low back line, and just a little zip in the bust area for breastfeeding. I did like how it turned out, but I never wore it again. This is another dress that I made for my maternity wear. I had to add elastic because now I definitely am not as big as I was when I was pregnant, but I do like the finished result of this dress. The fabric is not quite my taste, but it's definitely a great dress. So I made yet again another dress for my maternity wear, and this has the open front area for breastfeeding. This actually turned out to be really large in the bust, so I'm an A cup, and this is more like a C D cup fit. You can see that there's a lot of pleating going on, and in the back there's just so much room. Obviously I'm not as big as I was when I was pregnant, so it's definitely way more oversized now, but yeah, I would have to do a bust adjustment if I were to make this pattern again. And overall though, I really did like the end result, and I definitely liked the fabric that I used, which I got from Bali. Now I made a Berta style dress, and I actually made it out of this fabric that I got for $2 a meter. It was super cheap, so I decided to use it as a mock-up, and I actually really like the style of this, especially with the belt. It's got a very low French dart and that boat neckline with cap sleeves and a invisible zip in the back. It's a nice length, kind of short, and I think this would look really great for office wear or just like evening wear, just if you're wanting to look professional. So of course I made it again, but with long sleeves. So again, it's got that very professional look, and it would look great in an office or just a fancy evening out if you want to look professional. This is fully lined, this one, and the fabric was quite expensive as well. However,
it's quite itchy and not that comfortable. I think you kind of get used to it even with the lining. It's still a little bit itchy, but I like the result. I haven't actually worn it yet, but it's there for the occasion when needed. So this dress was a fail, and that's simply because I used this beautiful crinkle velvet stretch fabric just in a style that just didn't really look good for the fabric. I think it would look better maybe into some cushions, so I'm going to have to remake this. The finished result of the fit of the dress though was perfect, so unfortunately just the fabric didn't suit the pattern. Now this is a toile dress that turned out horribly wrong. It was secondhand fabric, and the fit of it, the finish of it was great, but you can see that the darts in the front were wonky and they just didn't work with the fabric. So this has already been chucked out and donated, but I just wanted to show you how you definitely make a lot of fails. I don't think that there is anyone who has a perfect sewing journey, but you definitely learn from your mistakes. So this McCall's jumpsuit I turned into a two-piece set. I had to crop both the pants and the top in the waist area quite substantially, and I just ended up adding elastic. The top is fully lined and has a clip closure on the back. I definitely wish I had have added some padding to the top so you could wear it braless. I'm still considering whether I'm going to go back and do this. So the pants has a really nice fit around the waist with elastic to hold it tightly in place. I definitely had to take the side seams on both the top and the pants in substantially, even though I used the smallest size. I wear the pants quite a lot because at the moment, since I made it, it has been quite cold here in New Zealand. The top I do plan to wear a lot in the summer. Hopefully I will get around to adding those cups just so I can wear it topless. And the pants are a slightly cropped ankle length, and the fabric is some sort of polyester crinkle with a velvet backing. Now these shorts are my absolute favorite. The only thing wrong with them is I didn't add the patch pockets. This fabric I thrifted from the secondhand store, and I also reused the drawstrings from some old pair of pants. This fit is just great. I'm definitely going to make a lot more again this summer, but I'm going to have to add the pockets. Another thing I might do to change it up is actually just insert elastic into the waistband rather than the drawstring, just so we don't have to tie up the drawstring. Again, I made the exact same pattern but with a different fabric. This again was from the op shop, and it must be polyester because it had a terrible smell when I ironed it. This fabric is from Bali. It is some sort of soft crepe, and as you can see, it flows beautifully on this wrap skirt. It was cut on the bias. That's so important for this style, and that's what gives it that beautiful swishy look to it. I love the skirt. The red is quite bold and bright, so I don't wear it as often, but I'm going to make it again in a more subtle fabric, and I'm going to wear it heaps this summer. This fabric, as I said, was from Bali, but it is terrible quality because it is not holding up very well to the use. This is the same similar fabric, again from Bali. However, I didn't quite have the right amount to do a bias cut on this, so I just did a straight panel and gathered it slightly, and as you can see, it just doesn't flow the same as the other skirt, and I didn't really like the pattern. It's quite bold for me, so I may reuse this skirt to make something else in or donate it. So I made this self-drafted A-line skirt with an elasticated waist using this rayon crepe fabric. It's just a very simple look, great for very hot days, wearing a crop top just like I am here, and it has already had quite a bit of use since I made it. This t-shirt turned out great. I love the fabric choice and the finish of the neckband and the hemming, which I used twin needle stitching
it just turned out fantastic. I've worn it heaps. It's definitely not your casual style, but it's just a simple t-shirt that has been worn many times and will still be worn many times more. I really want to get some more fabric like this, which is a jersey, and make some more. And I slightly curved the hemline, just I think it has a more flattering look. Moving on to a jacket that I made quite a long time ago, and I just hate it. I got rid of the pattern that I used, and the finish of it was fantastic, and I even used the salvage edge to make that nice trim around the neckline, but the lining and the fabric for the pattern, it just didn't work. It's bulky and it hangs weird. Yeah, so this has already been donated. Note to self, you really have to think carefully about what fabric you use for the pattern you use. Those pleats just look weird, and the front collar diagonal stuff, like what are those flaps? Yeah, and this is another jacket that failed, and it was a Russian pattern. It finished up really nicely, but the style of it just didn't work well for me. I know I'm not styling it the greatest here, but it just looks flat on me, and I also don't think I suit the fabric. Like, it's a blue color and it just doesn't work for me, so I've never worn it. It wasn't the cheapest fabric, however I've donated this already, but I just had to show you. Now, this was probably the first pair of pants I think that I've made, and it turned out great. I absolutely love the style of this. I worn it quite a bit. It's sort of got a cropped length on the ankles. It has pockets, little pleats in the front, and double darts in the back, which just give it the most perfect fit. And it's got belt loops, so I can wear a belt with it. It definitely looks better with a belt and with a tight top, just because these have a slightly loose fit to them. I have plans to make many more trousers kind of similar to this style. The only problem I have with this pattern is there's a little bit of discomfort in the crotch length, so that possibly would need to be altered if I made this again. And it has an invisible zip in the back, which is actually kind of a pain when you're wearing a belt, because you have to undo the front of your belt to get to the back zip. This dress was made out of that same rayon fabric that I used for the mini A-line skirt. It has a zip in the back, which it does not need because it's loose enough to just slip over your head. And this is, again, just a very casual summer dress that would also look great with a t-shirt underneath. I actually wore this for my son's first birthday, and it's just very soft and flowy for the summer months.
So that's the outfits that I have sewn up over the past couple of years. I really hope that you enjoyed having a look at what I've sewn up. If you do like quick short snippets of the makes for each garment, then do check out the shorts on my channel. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. It will help my channel grow as I'm just beginning, and of course do subscribe if you want to see more videos just like this one. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.